Maybe it's going to be laser technology. As soon as it detects a firearm going off inside of a public building, it hits the hand that's holding the gun and burns it, or whatever. Who knows? Something like that. Could be a complex series of layers that eventually stop mass shootings in America. But outside, no one's ever going to be safe. I mean, I guess they could pack them in on the telephone poles and city streets, but what about in the country? What about in the rural areas? Probably be about as frequent as speed, cameras or stoplight cameras, which is a very cheap way to make money, by the way, for these cities. They fucking love it. They're raping people up the ass. What'd you say here? It's so hard for me to read. I got an iPhone 4S. I'm getting something else in February. I don't know what, though. Genocide will come. Mental illness. Mother-in-law was in Dallas. Deputy behave. If we just go with Darwin's thoughts, and I am a firm believer that Darwin was just about perfect in his academic work, although his partner didn't get enough credit and he should have gotten more, then the laws will eventually collapse because there will be global disasters. So laws can only control a civilized society, one that is in order. Once it goes out of order, the animal takes over. And once the animal takes over, we're right back in Darwin's scheme, survival of the fittest. But it's not really the fittest. In fact, Darwin himself said, it's not the strongest or even the smartest who will always be able to survive. It is the one who can most quickly adapt to change. That's the one that's going to make it. And that goes for animals of all types. And I think it's true. So, but I think what he left out and what other people leave out is creativity. I think remarkably creative people, regardless of how high their IQ is, are going to find their ways out of bad situations more often than not. And that's going to help them eventually spread their genes. I mean, you have to look at it on a fast-forward time scale from 40,000 BCE, if you want to be politically correct. I don't give a fuck about that. I'll just say BC, to 2000 AD. Who survived, who didn't, and why? Your bravest men in volunteer military services died. Your very bravest men, many of them before they had a chance to have offspring. So did we not, by allowing our bravest men to fight, damage the strength of the gene pool as far as courage goes? Yeah, we did. It's a sad truth, but it's true. Only the good die young. Only the ballsy die young. I'm good with the animals. I think you do fine in the animal world, guy. I think you are waiting. Maybe not eagerly, but I think you are prepared for when the world goes animal. PC kills me. I know what you mean, guy, but it depends on what it is. Like, I say happy holidays, but if I'm talking to a Christian, I'll just come out and say Merry Christmas. But if I'm talking to a group of people or I'm out in public, I'll say happy holidays because I know there's 15 other religions celebrating, and I want to respect all of them. It's just, if I respect my Constitution, I have to respect freedom of religion. So I know that people are very passionate about this. And once you're passionate about your invisible guy, or the lack thereof, as in the case of Stabby, he doesn't want to hear anything about any God. His response to that is STFU at all times. My thought is, believe in whatever invisible dude you want. Just don't push that shit on me, or we will have a problem. So I don't know. Sometimes it's just being kind. It's not being politically correct. Sounds weak. It sounds really weak. Like, I'm going to abandon my beliefs to please you. Whereas with me, when I'm being kind to somebody, I believe in what I'm saying. I'm not just fucking around. So I think the people that abandon their beliefs, like closet racists that come out and say, oh, I have black friends and I'm not racist, and, but then they do racist things, and when they get together with other white people, they say racist things. That kind of PC is a fake PC. And I don't like people that are acting in social situations, putting on a big act, and then when they get behind closed doors, it's a whole different story. That's a little judgmental of me, but it's just in my nature. I probably should work on that. Guy says, I'm ready, adapt quick, then rule. Yeah, the leaders will rise to the top. I'm actually one of those guys that in a crisis situation where I know there's going to be people running around trying to shoot and rape and all that shit, and I know there's people that are going to need some defense, I would definitely rise up quick in that environment, because you have to almost have courage that abandons reason. And, it's hard to admit it. I hate to admit this, but a lot of extremist Muslims have abandoned any fear because they truly believe they're going to this special heaven. And they believe it way more than the average religious person. So a lot of them are looking forward to dying. It's a shame, man. It's a shame, because the passages that I've read of the Quran do not condone hurting innocent people for any reason unless they are driving you out of your home. So, yeah, those people are they're sick. They're using an extreme form of their religion to kill and murder. And frankly, I think if they were Christians or other religions and they had that same nature, they'd find a way to kill. They'd find a way. How do you pick those out? How do you pick out the Muslims that are going to kill people versus the ones that are peaceful before it happens? It's a good question. Guy says reaction with cause. Cause and effect. One thing I don't like is when people say, and especially when they're speaking religiously, everything happens for a reason. My first thought when I hear that is, yes, everything happens for a reason. It's called the cause. But they say it as if there's a divine plan at all times. When I was in a hallway and spun around a little too quickly and broke my toe, there was no fucking reason for that except there was a suitcase there. And I kicked the goddamn wheel of it. That's why I broke my toe. God didn't say, well, we need Kevin to respect pain a little bit more. I'm fucking in pain all the time. And we need to damage his gait a little bit, G-A-I-T. And we want him to walk slower because if he walks too fast, he'll get in the way of this. No. Not buying that, folks. Not buying it. I probably could entertain the idea that the future is already decided, meaning that whatever we're going to do, we're going to do. So if we were to jump forward in time and take a peek, say at the year 2100, and then jump back real quick, if that were possible, sparing any butterfly effect, I think what would happen when you peeked forward actually will happen, because all of the events leading up to that would happen. So I don't know, that blows some people's mind. We could debate about it all night, but you can't prove it yet. There are some psychologists now saying that choice is an illusion. DEFCON 4. That you don't even make choices. Your brain decides before you make the decision, and you believe the decision is one that you're making on the fly, but truly your subconscious and the more archaic parts of your brain, the brain stem, have already made the decision for you. So I don't know about that. I believe there might be some DNA at play, maybe even instincts. Biggest thing is leaping cool. Many can't. Oh, keeping cool. Yeah, that definitely could save your life. My wife's car malfunctioned and fucked me up. God, I don't think so. Shit car. Yeah, exactly. Well, there are those that believe that God controls some things, but lets other things go ahead and just let people pick the way they're going to go. I don't understand that. If there is a God, I would expect him to be kind enough to come down and say, look, bitches, I'm proving that I'm here. You don't have to rely on humans to relay stories and gospels. I'm proving it. Now I'm giving you the choice on whether to follow me and my guidelines or to go your own path and suffer for it. I'm giving you the choice. So, all right, I'm out of here. You know what I mean? And that's not happened. And, I cannot be satisfied that there is a giant invisible dude controlling the universe. I just can't. It's just not. The evidence is not there, and I've become more and more as I age an evidence-based believer in things. But if there is, I'm probably in some trouble. I mean, I think I've inadvertently led people away from religion, and that was not my intention. That's why I'm agnostic and not atheist, which is to say, I don't know. I don't know if there's a God or not. I don't know if there are many gods. I don't know if it's something people created to make themselves feel better, an afterlife. Don't know. Let's see. Mr. White says, if that was God, leave me alone. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. The idea of gods created by leaders to cause law, fear to control masses, in my opinion. Absolutely. I feel the exact same way, Guy. The people that invent religion and create it can then use it for whatever they want. I mean, you see these, what is human nature? You get a guy, and he's got this clan, it's a David Koresh or somebody, and he gets to have sex with all of the healthy females, all the ones that are pretty, but their husbands can't even have sex with them. So there's number one. Number two, they're in control. They're controlling people. Number three is, in the case of the church, say back in the medieval times, what better way to control the masses and keep them from rebelling than to convince them that someone is watching their every move all the time and taking notes? And you'd better love your neighbor and not covet thy neighbor's wife and don't steal. So it's just a weird thing that it's so practical for a government to control people with religion. Whereas if religion had been much different and said something like, hey, steal when you have to, then maybe we could look at it and say, okay, they're allowing for human nature there. I don't know. It sure is a convenience for governments, at least back in the day, to scare the shit out of people with an invisible dude into behaving well when the government's not looking, and to keep them from rebelling, rising up, questioning authority. That whole patriarchal system crumbles when you apply logic to it. It's sad. We're animals. Anyone can claim demigod status. Next. Yes, Guy Shea claims demigod status. People always want to control other people. Religion works. Absolutely. It's a good tool for it, man. What if religion were outlawed completely, made illegal, considered to be some form of psychological warfare on an average human being? I wonder how the world would change. I've never thought about it before. I'm just wondering. I wonder if the world would become a better place. It would probably have a similar effect that aliens visiting Earth would have in a convincing way. In that people would be forced to basically brain dump all the information they had and rethink the universe. And I'm sure that would lead to some kind of chaos. But I wonder how many people would just off themselves. Like, I've already been through the breeding years. That was pretty cool. Had some fun. I'm done. The rest is pain. I'm going to pop a cap in my own ass. I don't know. I wonder. I don't know. I'm just being boring now. I'm getting ready to get out of here. But I want to catch up in the chat room and see what all's going on. Knowing we are animals, using it, power. Yep. Yeah, there is a natural order, and this evolves in any hierarchical system that you find in nature that involves groups or clans. And there's going to be it's not always just one alpha male. Sometimes there's two or three that only when it comes down to mate selection and food will one rise up and win the fights. And for example, if you were to look at the what is that monkey, the macaque monkey or something, they change alpha males quite often. So it's whoever can win the fight. You get a new guy coming in from the outside. If he can beat the alpha male, then he's the new alpha male. And it's really weird how it's like a heavyweight championship belt. It changes hands all the time. So if it's not set in stone, then I don't have a lot of faith that it happens naturally. I think leaders emerge. You see it a lot on battlefields. People that win, bronze, silver stars, Medal of Honor. These are people that rose above and had the courage to put themselves in harm's way to save the lives of others. And you have to wonder what their motivation is, don't you? Did they just want the medal? Did they want it that bad? Did they lose their mind a little bit, and that gave them the courage. People snap in war